Welcome back to the channel. So this is going to be a crypto update video. I'm going to start doing these again and also doing daily newsletters. If you want to get the daily newsletters and you are not yet signed, you can check out wolflopez.com and sign up for the daily newsletters. I'll also be covering the daily newsletter in these YouTube videos. So you know, uh, I haven't uploaded on this channel for 2 years, and there's a few reasons why, and kind of like I can go over them here quickly for those who are, thinking about that. So, yeah, basically for the last bull run, my idea was to make insane, crazy amounts of money. I had everything kind of like I've been multiple cycles, and I knew exactly how I think that it would have played out and everything like that. But it didn't basically play out like that, and it went shit at the end of the bull run. So basically, start of the bull run, there were very nice gains. For example, 2023, just before the I positioned myself here in 2022. And in 2023, for example, gaming started to pop up. I made 10 access to some of them, like made 100 access. And then in later 2024, there was base meme coins that made also, I think that 10 to 30 access were what they were made. And then I was waiting for ETH for the main kind of like cake of the bull run. So those were nice gains, but the main cake of the bull run, we are talking about like generational wealth kind of like a play. I was waiting for ETH to, run this all-time high, and after that there should have been alt season, but it never, went, you know, all-time high. ETH never went all-time high. Also, Solana didn't. Kind of all the coins like just stayed there. Only Bitcoin went to new all-time high. So kind of like the alt season got dropped, and my main peak, gaming peak didn't get the momentum, didn't get the chance to shine. I think that the peak is just absolutely incredible, but it just didn't get the chance to shine. So there was the timing mistake, and just like I think that overall, I also made a huge positioning mistake because I've been through I've been here since 2017, so I've been through these cycles. So I was like so fucking sure. I was like, okay, this is, you know, uh through all of the metrics is showing like this is going to, happen at high probability. Of course, nothing is sure, but it was high probability for me, from my past experience and what I've seen and how I looked at the market. But it just never went there. So, it was a heavy kind of like heavy loss for me because I put all, well, not all, but most of my chips, like the majority part of chips in that, and also like my whole, not only my money, but my time, money, and energy, like everything to that fucking play, and it didn't play out. So it took like few years uh to get over that kind of like because I had been preparing for that exact freaking moment for years. Like it was not like just like I've been just like that. I was especially in the 2022 year. I was, if you been seeing some of my content here, 2022, my main thesis from coming from this 2021 bull run, this bear market, was to find the number one freaking low cap pick that massive high conviction and massive just like sizing and just like going at it. And this strategy would have worked in all of the previous ones, but in this bear bull market, it just didn't play out. And I'm just like, it was so freaking devastating for me. Even though I still think the big is just amazing, but it just didn't pop. It just didn't pop. And there were also, I'm not the only one with this. Like, if you look at other coins, there were so many coins that just didn't pop because the alt season never happened. But yeah. So that's basically what it is. And what I've been doing, I built some drop shipping stores to, collect cash basically. Somewhat passionate about it, but not really. I just did them to build the cash up, and for this next upcoming, for basically for this moment that the market has now bottomed, so I can just start deploying and yeah, build new positions. Um, And yeah, so with those stores, I'm currently right now in the middle of trying to like exit that business because I can, I have built the kind of like company and now I can sell it. I have private suppliers, all that kind of stuff. So that's very interesting there. And then I started bench pressing. and I bench pressed. My max one rep was 137.5 kilograms. So I have this like old school dude who is mentoring me, and there's a couple of guys there, very strong guys who mentored me. So I was able to get that up, which is super nice. I bulked up all the way, like I gained like 20 pounds, like after the altcoins it never came. I just started like basically how I did it is just like I ate shitloads and then I started lifting crazy ass, heavy ass mother freaking weights, like all like squats, everything was super high. I went to, I peaked at all-time highs for those, and I was like, okay, now that's great. And then also, also, I have a baby, little baby, so that's why I'm also recording this in my car, because the baby is a very babies are babies. They cry and they need constant attention, and they sleep a lot and do a lot of those things. So, that's kind of like But anyway, so that's basically what I've been doing, and right now, um. I'm really like focusing right now to find the next kind of, so do the same thing basically what I did back in 2022, and to find the next picks and just go heavy at it. But at this point, um, I will not go only just like one fucking freaking high pick. I mean it should, if but the play was like, here, like if it would have worked out, but I still had like great picks here, don't get me wrong, like here I had great picks, but my like main thing was the last part of the like the season, like the bull run, and then just freaking then like if the play would have played out, and the probability was extremely high in my opinion. We were at the bullish cycle, and like the play was there, but it just didn't play it. But if it would have played out, the money basically it would be generational wealth at that point. So you know, so now it is what it is, and yeah. So the time, money, and energy kind of like lost there, um, but I'm much wiser. I'm much more not so basically crazy, overly optimistic. And there's a lot of things that I learned, like a lot of things. Basically, you learn more from these type of experience than the wins. So Tony Robbins has a great saying: pa- uh, when you win, you party. When you lose, you ponder. And all greatness comes from pondering. So now it just basically it's the cycle of life. Like if you look at like the seasons, there's the summer, massive abundance, and then uh, the fall and the winter, and then you just rebuild. You just rebuild. You can't. That's how it goes. And if you look at all of I've been reading a lot of you know investor kind of like biographies and stuff like that to kind of like learn even more, and also now studying like just straight up like Harvard University economic books. So try to just like up my game and become more well-rounded at this. So yeah, and I've been also looking at them. I never kind of like I just needed to to get the kind of like the reset from the thing. But I've been honing the skills and mindset and thinking and studying. So it's just like it's never ending, but it's just like it's not like yeah. So with that being said, let's jump into the video. So I'm not going to talk anymore about that stuff uh going forward here, because it's unnecessary for the upcoming bull run, and there always will be bull runs. It's a cycle. You can see the chart here. There's always a cycle, and right now I think that the 4-year cycle is kind of like like how it exactly like the Bitcoin still has you know the halving, right? And Bitcoin is still very essential, right? Right now, Bitcoin is still in the market, setting up the tone for the markets, right? So, you know, uh, this looks great. This looks great, but there can still be the kind of like for example, here in the 2022 to 2023, I was waiting for the last dip, kind of like or some kind of like financial crisis, or some kind of market stress for the Fed to start printing, and that creates the kind of like, for example, that creates the massive liquidity for the crazy runs. So I was waiting that, but it never happened. So there's a couple of things that I was looking into, but it never happened. So I was reading this great investor guy, and he was saying I remember reading this book like 2023, and he was saying like he's the old dude, by the way, and he tried to time the markets for like over 10 years. And then he understood you can never time the markets. And when I read that, I was like in 2023, I was like, well, you kind of can time the markets because I was most likely just lucky when I was doing all this stuff. Um, so it was like, I was like, okay, maybe like he's right, but at the same time, there's still possibility because now I truly understand. Like, you can have the best freaking thing, but if the timing is still off, like, you can't look. It really takes like to really in-depthly understand a subject and a thing. You need to basically experience it yourself. And I mean, you can once you like if you hear like timing is impossible, you're like, yeah, that's right. Like timing is impossible. But to truly like to get it to your core, to be like, okay, actually timing is like literally timing is impossible, period. So it needs an experience, and Carl Jung also talked about it. It's very interesting. He talks about like all this kind of like intellectual blabbering is truly nonsense in the face of experiencing it through emotion. Like it's just like if you try to experience, like for example, say like explain emotions through words, it is impossible. Impossibility. You cannot explain it. So you can try, but it's not the same thing as feeling and experiencing it yourself. So, that's it. And I've seen people taking hits, people taking losses. For example, Grant Cardone, he was grinding, and I think that he lost in 2008. He lost basically everything, and then he just and multiple times before that during his lifetime, he rebuilt it even stronger and look like what he's doing right now and past 10 years. So I mean, it's just always about rebuilding, and can you take the hit and move forward. But I wasn't here ready to kind of like move forward before I was kind of like ready myself mindset wise, so it doesn't become like a weird thing. So yeah, now I'm ready, and let's get it. So the hypothesis for the next bull run is basically there is no way timing it, but the you can see with this bull run also it rhymed, but it wasn't exactly the same. So my strategy for the next run is basically go into these kind of like, for example, here I grinded a lot to find the 10x to 100x peaks, and then here also like I grinded a lot to find the peaks. But looking at the past, and looking at here also and here, like just getting into the leaders in the space, okay, and just like the obvious shit. Like if you look at, for example, Solana in the last bull run, it was like I will be covering it later, but it was you can look at the metrics and everything and just like see like it's an obvious peak, and then once the market starts going bullish, these peaks just like easily like 5 to 10x, okay, and with very much ease, and also with very low uh you know very low risk. So basically I'm looking to what I'm right now looking low risk. And low risk, by the way, in crypto is it's not that you know, uh, it's actually not that easy to achieve lower risk. It's always like everything is so super high risk. So, it's a lower risk, but still like averagely high returns. Not just like, I was talking to this guy who is, he's kind of like trading commodities and stuff like that in New York. He's insane. He's an older guy. He's insanely mega wealthy. Like I'm talking about crazy, crazy wealth. He manages big fund. Like and he has massive business. So, and what he did throughout his life, he basically went for two. He said to me, he went for 2x in 5 years. But he was insanely practical guy, like super practical. He built his own algorithms and all that kind of stuff. But he compounded money with 2x in 5 years, realistically. But I'm talking about. He went big. He went even bigger on this. So if you go super big on these kind of like lower risk, like low returns, of course you can make also a lot of money. Okay, but in my opinion, crypto as it is, like the in that kind of commodity space 2x for crypto, that is the 5 to 10x range. That kind of like a lower risk. And so this kind of like what I'm targeting with most of the picks to build like a kind of like a kind of barbell portfolio in a sense. So there's still the freaking low risk like nasty, you know, nasty caps. You know what I'm saying? Like nasty, like there will be nasty caps. I'm looking at them and there's insane amounts of opportunities right now, the new coins launch and everything. So there is nasty opportunities to make crazy money fast. And in the previous bull runs, I have found them. I have found them. Now I have kind of like I think that I have what it takes to like really like hone in the find because in the 2023 it was still kind of like a spray, not like crazy spray. It was like 5 coins and then you know for example one of them really took off. So it was that. I'm really looking to hone it like even down more. So like maybe even like 2 coins and then one pops up or something like that, or three, 1 to 3, maybe even just one. But we will see. But once you go to these lower nasty ones, it's like some of them will just like it will be like you look at this product, the products that they're everything is just like that. It's just great. It's the nasty cap is just like it's great, but it's something because it's a lot because they are starting businesses from scratch. So there's so many things that go wrong, and then when something goes wrong, it can the whole thing and just collapse. And but with this net, if something goes right, it usually means like it goes like super high. So I'm looking this, but I'm also looking for this low kind of like a low risk 5x to 10x return plays, and also like this basically nasty risk and nasty reward, and then with these looking to make the big chunk of change. You know what I'm saying? So I'm kind of like splitting because last bull run I was going only on the nasty caps, and it went well. It went really well, but the last kind of like like think about like it went like this, and then when it was time to push through this it kind of like brrr, and then it just like went fucking crazy down. I mean it's like crazy down. So I mean it's just like it was so freaking close. It was so close. So yeah, so that's what I'm currently been thinking about, and going in and also making it like making because with this lower risk it was like okay, this is going to be it and then that's it. But with this new mindset it's more like a marathon in a sense. So will be very interesting to see this next bull run. I feel and the last bull run was so, if you look at a lot of the coins that there nothing happened, but one like with the ETH not making new all-time high, a lot of people got effed up. A lot of people got effed up, and you can see it in the market. You can see it in the markets. A lot of the new, the older guys who have been here got like like a lot actually effed up because they were ready to make it, and then I think that there were just so many people who were through the cycles, and now as people like, were ready to make the moves, it kind of didn't. So, yeah. But I think the next cycle is going to be interesting because now the playing field is kind of like, if you look at everybody who is in the markets, the OGs, the new ones, everybody, it's kind of like the starting point for everybody almost. Like if you look at anybody in the space, it's like, okay, now the next bull run will come, but what will happen? It will be extremely interesting. I think that the fundamentals of still like looking at the coins that are actually doing stuff and just like getting there 4 or 5 to 10 axis from these, but because I'm like the coins are at crazy lows, there can be 5 to 10 axis easily, and also 100 axis are very doable, maybe even like crazier than that because some of the coins are so low. Uh, but again, the timing is just absolutely impossible. So they're not telling like what will happen next and when the next bull run starts, or but will we grind here for a while most likely, and then maybe even one bottom, more like the last kind of like thing, and then you're looking here for example, like it went down, then we have boom, and then and there's always people who are leverage trading. You can see massive like weeks. For example, if you look at Bear chain, there's like it's massive down, but then somebody was, you know, shorting it. So then there was massive short squeeze, and then it popped up, and then it started going back down again. So it's just like people like there's a lot of things happening there. So yeah, but what I wanted to cover here is the newsletter here. So basically, okay, let me just read it here and show you the pictures here because so in 2022 the Fed started aggressive quantitative tightening. So basically this means that they are reducing the money supply. You can just like the more money is in the markets, the more bullish, the less money there is in the liquidity there is money there is, so the less bullish. Okay, so this affected the market, and this happened after. So this the main kind of like they printed crazy amounts here, um um you know it, during COVID, like once it's just like boom, they make just, and that liquidity there was looked like 2021, the NFT, everything went just like crazy. People went crazy. So now they started into 2022, and now that quantitative tightening ended. You can see here it was December 2021 when it ended. Okay, so it was a rough period here, and if you be looking at the S&P 500, you're like, how the heck is S&P 500 going still up? But the thing here is that the main thing is, S&P 500 has 500 the biggest US companies, right? So AI has been in such a boom, and they are big companies making crazy amounts of revenue, and then they started also you know you know cutting unnecessary spending so that they made more money. And with the AI boom's help, S&P 500 is still making new highs. But crypto didn't have the Nvidia size like mega crazy, absolute crazy winners. So crypto got hit hard. Okay. And now that the quantitative tightening has ended, and you can see a little bit of here. So, this doesn't mean that quantitative easing is, printing, they are not printing, just straight up cash. It hasn't begun. But right now we are in the period where the tightening has ended and the easing is kind of like beginning. So, for if the quantitative easing becomes a thing and they start crazy printing, that is super bullish for crypto. Basically, that is super bullish. We saw it here, and it's super bullish for every all the markets. So you know I was waiting this kind of like uh I was waiting for the quantitative easing in the last bull run. So basically I was waiting for like, is there going to be some kind of like, because it was super shaky times also 2022. So I was waiting like, is there some kind of like a market event or crisis or something like that, and then to get the dip, and then they had to print again, because right now they are in a very tough spot. So it's just like they are kind of like managing it. Inflation is crazy high, so they're just kind of like keeping it steady right now, which is not, employment is unemployment is high, and inflation is high, so they're just like keeping it the ship like at least at some kind of like steadiness. So they kind of like because if they would have needed to give quantitative tightening here, they were basically forced to stop at this point. So they stopped it, and now it's they're just like cruising here, but it's there's a little bit of like, uh, you know, um, it's not real quantitative easing, but it is mildly bullish for crypto. You can see it like, happening. So right now these are the three possible scenarios that are, probabilities, and we will see what will happen. But basically, any of these will happen. So the most likely is this current, situation stays probably the same with nothing basically happening, and this is for like Bitcoin and large cap coins and strongest coins. You can see that it has been happening. For example, some of the meme stuff and stuff like that, like the strongest can make potentially nice gains here. Okay. But they will, and the strongest coins will still perform altcoins. This is not altcoin season market basically yet. So the 25% probability is painful, but this is the most bullish afterward. And I was waiting this back in 2022, 2023. So basically, sharp sell-off happens in stocks and crypto market-wide, like just like crash, and then the Fed is forced to cut rates and potentially begin the real money printing. and they would have to at least like do a little print here, you know, and that you would instantly see that in the markets, in my opinion. So this could create a liquidity environment, that produces similar results than in 2021, and then the 20% is straight up, you know, no sugarcoating pain, like just like straight up pain. So basically, this is inflation remains high as it is right now, and the Fed keeps rates elevated or raises them a little bit, which is like a oh, and no quantitative easing begins, and this would keep market conditions rough, especially for altcoins. Like if this happens, altcoins are going to, the strongest might still like perform due to hype, but there's because there's still crazy amounts of new people in crypto. There is serious craziness in crypto still. Like you can see here, total market cap is way bigger than in the last bear. So, for example, last bear it dipped to like, here under Trilsky. But here right now we are at still over to Trilsky, which is basically market cap here, almost like here in the last 20 in the 2021 bull. So I mean, the market it's way bigger right now. So the way bigger it is, it's not as volatile. But also, if you look at like if you're buying like 15 million, like kind of like a version of Pepe, I mean, the risk is super high, and it doesn't mean like that. But for example, assets like Bitcoin, like the highest cap assets, the swings are not as crazy anymore because there is more. It's more the market is more mature. Makes sense. So with that being said, it's still a steep correction, but it's not like it's not that steep. But these were like super steep, and it was like, but it's of course it is still steep. It is still steep. And we will see if we will still go like a little bit lower, a little bit of that. So, so that's the three scenarios. So, um, you know, these are I I hope that this will happen because it will be crazy painful. It will be just like the ultimate squeeze. But this would spark the like crazy bull run, like the like even crazier than 2021 because there are so many new people. It will be just like massive, like the kind of like the last stand up. And then after that there's no telling what will happen because they would be forced to print so much money, and the market would just like flourish, and it just like no matter but there would be mega gains, mega massive gains. So but the most likely is that this current situation keeps going, and we'll see where will it be going. So next 6 to 24 months are kind of like bullish for sure, because you can see here that the tightening has ended, but there's all so maybe we'll cruise like this, and then for the next bull run it will be um you know old good bull run, or then we have the short pain and then up like crazy, or then we have the pain, which is basically he staying at the level and then just like and then just like getting a little and get more and more pain and just stay in it and withstand it. um so that is of course not ideal, but there's still that chance, but there's always opportunities, and people are winning, so no matter the market conditions, so people are all there's always someone winning. So this doesn't mean like this probability doesn't mean that you know people can't still win. There's still all there's winners still. There is winning everywhere, opportunities anywhere. So yeah, this doesn't mean that there's no opportunities right now. This means like actually this means like there's opportunities right now. And timing the market perfectly is impossible. Impossible. So I was you know so it is impossible. So basically right now all anyone can do, what you can do, what I can do is build position based on strong convictions at lower possible prices. Like if there's a peak that is like super great at lower prices, getting in and waiting for the bull run to play out and tease to play out. That is a great way to make money, because that's exactly how I've made in 2020. Basically all the times I bought super low in these kind of like market conditions, and then just waited it out. Once the bull wave comes, the buybacks 10x is super easy to do. So, and also the higher cap coins usually run, they run, of course, like Bitcoin, ETH, and the other stuff, they usually run the first. So, there's that. Um, so yeah, this is kind of like the video right now. Thank you so much for watching, and see you tomorrow. Peace out.